So this is the ultimate guide for you to file taxes, whether you are on student visa like F1 or J1 visa, or on work visa like H1B, L1, etc. Let's get started with student visa, and if you want H1B visa, skip to this timestamp. So in the US, even if you are present for even one day in last year, so let's say you came to the US on 31st December or 30th December of last year, right? You still have to file taxes for this year. It might be shocking for you, but you have to. If you skipped for 1 year, it is completely fine. But according to IRS Instructions, which is Internal Tax Revenue System of United States, or according to instructions given by all the universities, for example, this is a university I picked up, you have to file this form called 8843. Don't worry, these numbers might be weird for you, but everything will become simple by the end of the video. Please stay with me. So you have to file this form, and the form looks like something like this, as you see on the screen. It is a short 1-page form and you have to sign it. It is not a big deal, but this is the form. You don't have to manually fill it in. There's a software which will fill it for you, and which is called SprintTax. So SprintTax is a software all international students should use, but there is an if statement. So you should use SprintTax only if you were present in the US for more than 5 years. So let's say you came last year and you have filed taxes in the US for already 5 years using SprintTax, or you can say that you were not a resident. So in the US, when you are on student visa and you haven't gotten H1B visa or work visa like H1B, L1, etc., then you have to use this software, or in other words, you have to fill 2 forms called 8843, or you have to use this form called 1040 NR. So even if you made $0 in the US last year, you have to fill this form called 8843. If you made some money, then you have to fill this form called 1040 NR. So these forms are connected with money. That these forms are for non-resident alien, as you are on F1 visa or on student visa. And remember, if you sold any stocks in the US, like I have done on my WeBull app, which you can find in the description, so you still have to file taxes for all the stocks you sold. So remember, that information is a bit tricky for all international students to fill. So remember to use this website, because this website creates these forms, these PDF 8843 and 1040 NR for you. And you can then, once you have the PDF, you can mail it to the IRS. And if you want to find the address of IRS, you can just ask ChatGPT or on Wink. For example, I have for Georgia, the address is this, which is officially provided by irs.gov. I have the source right here. And if you want to know the federal address, it is depending on the state. So if you are in Georgia, the federal IRS address is this. So you have to mail it to them, and both state tax forms and federal tax forms will be provided by SprintTax for you, and you can use this app. And on this app, you just have to fill in your basic information, how many days you were in the US, so that it knows that you are filing taxes in the right category. So rule is, if you are in the US for 5 years and more, then you should not use this app. If you were here in the US for 5 years and less on student visa, then you can use this app. The tricky part is you get many tax forms. So let's say you work for your university, you will get a W-2 from them. If you actually made some interest income, let's say you have a bank account in Bank of America, you made some interest, let's just like FD in India, right? You will get 1099 INT form for that. And let's say like me, you use this credit card called Chase credit card. For this card, I actually got 1099 miscellaneous form, which told all the referrals I did. So I referred many of you that this is my favorite credit card, and I got many points to fly business class. And because of that, the amount of money I made, it was around $500-$600. But that money, I had to file taxes as well. So all of these forms which you get are 1099, W-2. All of these forms are supposed to be submitted on this website, and it will be combined and then submit it to the IRS. So this app handles everything for that and makes your process easier. What is tricky is if you sold, let's say, one stock of maybe Google, like you bought and sold it, right? It is an income. Whenever you sell a stock, it is an income as well. And you have to manually put in for every single stock you sold. So which can take, a lot of time manually. So that's why you can hire an accountant. But for international students, I don't think I will recommend, because your tax refund is not justifiable. But when I am making money as a software engineer, it is justifiable. It is worth it because it saves a lot of time. If you have time as a student, you can fill it on your own. It's not a big deal. And if you if you sold some stocks, it may take time, but if you think it's taking longer, you can definitely hire an accountant. Now let's talk about for anyone who is on H1B visa or who has stayed on student visa like me for 5 years or longer. So because I have stayed longer than 5 years, I use the app called TurboTax. So let me walk you through it. So why TurboTax? I have two options. One is that I can hire an accountant, and number two is I can use this app and I pay only $75. So basically check that you have W2. As I mentioned, this is a form which you receive telling how much money you made through, let's say, a company like NCR, Microsoft, Google, where you worked. And number two is you paid rent. All of these categories you have to mark. You sold stocks. So best thing about TurboTax is, which is my favorite, so I have lot of stocks on WeBull. So I showed you my WeBull profile, right? So which gives me free stocks as well with the link in description. But for this app, all the stocks I sold, which is my income, I had to report them. So what this app does is I can just with one click log in on WeBull, and all of the forms are automatically collected and I don't need to manually put it in. So it helped me save a lot of time. So all I did was, when you click on get started, so it has an option to hire an expert, which is $139. I did not hire an expert. I just chose the free version. So here you can see it's $69 to use TurboTax. I just used this version. And after that, I was able to get all of my tax forms from websites like Fidelity, where I have some stocks. I use Coinbase for my crypto. I can show you all of my apps. Coinbase for all of my crypto. I was able to get all of these forms automatically on TurboTax, and that helped me a lot. And in the end, my tax return was around $3,000, and I think it was totally worth using it. My friend said that friend hired an accountant as well and paid $500, but his tax return was also around the same. So I personally think it is not as worth hiring an accountant if you do not have income more than, let's say, $100,000. If you have income more than that, you can feel free to hire because it could be worth it. Multiple sources of income means you should hire an accountant. I only have one source of income in the US for now, which is my full-time job, and I'm not making any rental incomes. And it was not complicated for me. So that's why I did on my own. But if you want, you can hire an accountant. Many people say it is worth it. And if you want to check out TurboTax, you can get $25 in your account if you use my referral code, and 20% off as well. So do check out my referral code. It will help me as well. So with this app, everything, all the forms become easier. Now let me tell you the good part about it. On TurboTax or any tax filing software using, it is mandatory for you to fill one form you get from Fidelity. So let's say I am working for companies like NCR, Microsoft. I did their stock purchase program. So let's say with stock purchase program, what happens is one stock is $100. But with stock purchase program, you get it for 10% off or 15% off. You get it for $90. The good part is you do not have to pay any taxes for the $10 discount you got. So remember to update all of the forms you got from Fidelity. Do upload, because that will help you with your tax process and it will streamline it for you. And another thing is, do not sell your stock for less than 1 year. So if you sell your stock less than 1 year, you pay more taxes. So let me give you an example. So in the US, how it works is, if you make $100, let's say the tax percentage is 30%, you pay $30 taxes. Now, let's say you sold a stock. You bought a stock for $100, you sold it for $200, you paid $100 on that stock, right? That $100 will be subjected to 30% tax as well, just like your income tax, because you sold it less than 1 year after you bought it. So do not sell it less after 1 year, because if you sell it after 1 year, it will be considered long-term gain, and that will be subjected to maximum 15 to 20% tax. So for capital gain tax, if you make less than $40,000 and if you sell it after 1 year, you will pay $0 taxes on all the stocks you sold. If you make more than $40,000 and less than $445,000, you will pay around 15% tax, and maximum will be 20%, which is less than your income tax, which could be around 30%, as I said. So do sell your stocks after 1 year. It will help you out. And this also tells you all the CEOs who keep their money in Facebook, Google stocks, they pay maximum 20% taxes, but we pay more than that because income taxes are more than these capital gain taxes. Now, let me tell you all of the assets you have. There's a question on TurboTax which tells you that if you have any amount more than $10,000 in your home country or any country outside United States, you should report it. Let's say you are on student visa and you have lived in the US for more than 5 years, you considered resident, So you will be using TurboTax and you should report it. And if you are on H1B visa, you're using TurboTax, you should file your foreign income as well. Let's say I have 3 bank accounts in India with SBI, HDFC Bank, and ICICI. If the total money in those bank accounts is around 8 lakh rupees or $10,000, I will tell US system or IRS that I have foreign assets. And if you have, let's say, foreign gains, like, you sold taxes in India, you should report that as well. And I am not reporting. Do you know why? Because I actually do not have more than $10,000. And all of the investments I have to report. If I have, like, stocks worth, like, say 10, 20 or even 30,000 rupees. But if all of those stocks add up to more than 8 lakh rupees, I am telling IRS about it. And if you do not do that, these are the consequences. So everyone should report their foreign assets or income in the United States, because if you do not, here are the consequences. So according to all of these sources, including irs.gov, you will have to pay $10,000 penalty on each foreign asset you have, which you do not report. And you can even have to pay 50% of the taxes on amount greater than $100,000. So I will say, please go ahead and report it, because the consequences are much more, like penalty of 40% on some income, 20%. So rather than paying this much, just pay 10 to 15% what you have to. Just do it, because even 1 year delay can result in these many fines. So that will be my advice to all of you. And my other advice to save taxes in the US is, if you are making money in a company, that you can create an HSA account, health savings account, because that is tax free. You can invest into 401k or retirement funds. That helps you save a lot of taxes as well. And you can create an IRA account, which is also a retirement account, which can come with Fidelity. Many companies offer you. So these 3 ways can actually help you save a lot of taxes. And another thing could be, keep a lot of money in stocks. A lot of people who keep in stock, and those gains result in only 20% taxes, which is 20% capital gain taxes, which is less than income taxes. That is how people are able to get through. And for that, if you want to keep a lot of money in your, stocks and capital gains, a lot of people create businesses for that, like, Airbnb business, rental business. And some people on H1B visa are able to do it if they are in touch with a lawyer with the right knowledge. So you can do it and save a lot of taxes as well. So that'll be my advice. Do hire the right lawyer, because it is definitely worth it. And thank you so much for watching.